Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to be going over the TV lead program today, as well as what to say and how to say it when you're speaking to your clients and enrolling them online. First thing you're going to do is you're going to print off a paper application and keep it on your desk. Second thing you're going to do is log into your Aptical website. This is the website you're going to be using to complete the electronic application and voice signature for Prosperity's Life New Vista product. What's most important about a final expense sale is not so much of a script, but it's about the conversation that you must have with your client. The goal for establishing that trust and developing the rapport is to set the stage and to have that conversation about their needs. So your presentation shouldn't be scripted. It should just flow. You should be viewed more as an educator or a consumer advocate for them. You're really the person on the phone asking the questions. The easiest way to ruin a final expense sale is to get very scripted in nature. I feel that if you're just having a nice conversation, you're painting an emotional picture through conversation, asking questions like who their beneficiaries are, have they lost someone recently, how many siblings do they have? The goal is to get them to picture all of their loved ones, family, friends, both alive and the ones that have passed, and get them to start thinking about why it's important to purchase some final expense coverage. The last thing we want to do at the end of our lives is to leave a burden on our children. We want this last final expense taken care of so the children have the time to grieve, but most importantly, celebrate their life and not have to worry about having to pay for a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 funeral. So this is a wonderful gift that these clients are going to be providing their children. And it should only take about 30 minutes over the phone. So when you guys get ready to work your TV leads, just make sure that you jump on your TV leads immediately. As soon as your leads come in, you're going to call them back, you're going to have your Aptical website open, and you're going to have your series of questions that you want to ask your clients. So the intro to my script. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You recently requested your free prescription discount card from United Health Benefits. During that call, you indicated you were interested in getting a quote for final expense insurance coverage. My name is Ryan, and I'm calling you back to give you that information. At this point, they should be aware of who you are and that they did request information because they just hung up the phone after hearing and watching the commercial. So it's most important, number one, is to call those leads back as soon as you get them. Number two is to just get that conversation started. And some of the questions that you're going to want to ask to get your clients thinking about funeral expense insurance is, have you been responsible for making funeral, cemetery, cremation arrangements when somebody has died? How did it go for you? Did it create any financial problems for you? Who will be responsible for your arrangements upon your death? Is that person financially prepared for such an emergency? You're trying to get them to start thinking about what is going to happen at your client's passing. They might say something like, oh, well, I got money in the bank account that can be used to cover this funeral. Well, a lot of people aren't aware that their bank accounts and assets are frozen when somebody passes away. And, if they actually have a joint account, it opens up a whole another set of problems. So there's going to be a few objections you're going to get, but your main goal over the phone selling this Prosperity product is to just get them to start talking with you. Once you get them to start talking, start using some of the client's beneficiary names. I have always used an example of, hey, you might have a few kids. One might be well off, one might be married, one might not be well off. The animosity that might be built up amongst those three children because one child paid for the entire funeral for mom and dad, the other two did not. It's just not a pleasant feeling that the family needs to go through at the end of your life. So that's why it's important that we put together a plan today so your kids can celebrate your life and grieve without having to worry about this financial burden. So as you start getting your client warmed up, I want you to pull out your paper application and briefly, and I mean briefly, go over the health questions. Just rip right through a few of them. You're just trying to get enough information to create a proper quote for your client. So if you could kind of get an idea of their medications or anything major in the past 5 years that they're going through, heart, stroke, cancer, this will help you provide them the initial quote. That should be fairly accurate. Now what you're going to do is when you get into this Aptical website, you're going to then go over all the health questions again with your clients. So if there is a change, and let's say they answered yes to section 2, question 5, the rate will change at that time, and you can go ahead and talk to them. You got your paper application, you got a few health questions answered, you feel that your client's in pretty darn good health. So where do I go from here? All right. You're going to tell your client that you're a broker, you're an insurance broker, you have the finger on the market. What's most important is doing business with an insurance company that's affordable, but also fits your certain health impairments. So I'm going to be going over some health questions with you today to try to figure out which carrier you qualify for, which carrier will be the best for you. And I honestly feel Prosperity has some of the best underwriting out there. They're loose on double impairments. They really only care about insulin diabetes prior to age 50. There's some caveats in there, but this company is issuing business, and you'll be confident knowing that at the end of the call, your client will qualify for either a level graded or modified plan, and you can then go ahead and move on to the next one. So you got your Aptical website open here. The very first step you're going to do is hit the application button, go to rate calculator. Now I don't solve insurance by face amount. I don't solve by premium, I solve by face amount. So what I tend to do is I do tell them, hey, there's some costs involved with burial as well as cremation. You can go over some of those prices with them. If you have a price list at a local mortuary, that's even better. You can go line by line with them. But I personally try to just tell them, hey, look, cremation's between $4,000 to $8,000 and burials between $8,000 to $12,000. But you're right here at the rate calculator. You kind of have an idea of what your client's going to qualify for because you ripped through some of the health questions. First thing you're going to do is choose Prosperity Life New Vista. The product, if you're selling in the state of California over the phone, it's not New Vista eApp, and it's not New Vista Voice. It's New Vista Voice California, age 65 and up, and New Vista Voice California, age 65 and under. So let's say we got a client who's under age 65 in the state of California. And I'm just going to put in a birth date here of 65. All right. I tend on my premium draw date, I tend to like to specify a week and a day that these premiums are taken out. And really this is more for those clients over age 65 that might have some sort of Social Security income coming in. Draft premiums on the exact day that they receive their Social Security check. And you could figure out which day your client receives their Social Security check just by the birth date of your client. But a lot of times you'll find that it might be the second Wednesday of the month. What's nice about this is it's, the second Wednesday of this month might be the 10th. The second Wednesday of next month might be the 9th. So it kind of floats. But what's most important is the persistency that you're going to get out of it, because every time this bank drafts premiums, the government's already provided them their check. So we got a Prosperity Life SUSA New Vista Voice California under age 65. We have a male age 53, non-smoker. He's going to pay on a monthly basis with no accidental death benefit. You can choose accidental yes, but I always tend to choose no. Now here's where I don't tend to plug in a face amount because the senior market is usually sold in reverse. It's sold on a monthly purchase approach. So I tell my clients, look, what's most important that we get coverage today so your family's financial burden is taken care of when it comes to burying you and your bride. But what's important also is that it's affordable and it fits your budget. So I got plans that are from $40 a month, $50 a month, $60 a month. Are any of the, what fits your budget? Does $50 fit your budget? What we want to do is make sure that your client has insurance in force. So we never want to over-insure your client. If he feels like he can cover $100 and you think he can do $100 a month, go ahead and do a $100 a month plan. Sometimes if you feel like, oh man, client really wants $10,000 of coverage, but he just can't afford it, we'll sell him half of the coverage and let him know, hey, I'll call you back before your birth date next year and before the rates go up. And if you're looking for more additional coverage at that time, we'll go ahead and get you set up. But I tend to run between $40, $50, or $60 a month plans. So what I do is, let's say the client wanted a $50 a month plan. I'm going to hit 50 here, and I'm going to hit calculate, and it's going to bring me 3 rates. All right, all these rates are for $50 a month. We have a level death benefit that's going to provide a $14,000 death benefit. We have a graded benefit that's going to provide $8,798 a month. And we have a modified death benefit that's going to cover $5,622 a month. Depending upon those paper application questions that we asked our client briefly, we feel that your client is going to answer no to the entire application. So I'm going to go ahead and bubble this first bubble here. This is the level death benefit option. And I'm going to hit create application. At this point, you're going to be dropped right into the Aptical website. This is where you're going to ask the health questions in detail, word for word. All right. Go ahead and get these questions answered. You're going to go through every section. And at the end of the electronic application, the system is going to tell you, okay, please make a phone call to Aptical to complete your voice signature. And oh, by the way, there's going to be a reference number there that you're going to need to provide Aptical when you call them. All that is a code that's going to allow them to bring up this application that you just created electronically with your client. When you call them, Aptical is going to again just review some of the insurance questions that you went over with your client briefly. They're also going to ask your client if they received the disclosures via email. Very important. Before you call Aptical, make sure your client is aware that you are going to be emailing the disclosures to them. If you don't, and you're on the call with Aptical, and the client says, oh no, I didn't get my disclosures, Aptical is going to read to your client like 10 minutes worth of nonsense. I shouldn't say nonsense, but 10 minutes of disclosures. It really bogs down the process. So just make sure before you call Aptical, you let your client know that, hey, you answered no to all the health questions. The insurance company is going to ask you if you received your disclosures. You say yes, so we can go ahead and skip that section and go right to the finalizing the sale. Aptical is going to run the MIB, which is the Medical Information Bureau report, as well as the RX report. So at the end of the call, before you and your client hangs up with Aptical, Aptical is going to let you know that your client has been approved or approved other than applied for. The approved other than applied for would mean, hey, we started this as level, but the client's actually graded now, or the client's modified now. So everything will be changed at that time, and it will get reran at Aptical. So everything will be fine. You just gotta let your client know, hey, you qualified for the modified benefit instead of the level benefit. It's still the same premium. The face amount's a little less, and there's a short waiting period to get the full death benefit. But you could go over that with them a little bit once Aptical hangs up the phone with you. But this is basically it. You go through the health questions. It's the pros insured the owner, who will be the payer. Next, very easy. Secondary address. No. Has the proposed insured provided by email the application package? Hit yes.
go to next. You're going to put in the client's information. You're going to hit next. You see here what happened. I hit next without putting in the client's height and weight, mailing address, that type of thing. So if you miss something, you can't go. You have to, before you can go to the next page, you got to go and get that client's information. Once you finish the application, your client's been approved. Thank them very much. Let them know that you'll have a policy for them shortly, that you'll give them a call. Maybe at that time, you can try to generate a referral, or when you make the call back, to let them know that, hey, I received your policy and it's in the mail. Maybe you can ask for referrals. They're really great for referrals. They're lay down sales. So always be asking for referrals. If you're interested in generating more referrals, I do a gift card approach. So all of my clients receive a $20 restaurant card, Visa card, that I go ahead and pop in the mail with their policy. So I tend to provide all of my clients a little gift for doing business with me, on the idea that I'm trying to get them to provide me a couple more people to talk to. But again, this final expense sale is not scripted. It's all about conversation. You're going to have a list of questions, probably, 10 to 12 of them, that will help you get the call started. It will help you build that rapport. And more importantly, people don't want to be sold. They want to just make sure that you're providing a service. The entire sales process should take about 45 minutes or less. Okay? Build rapport, get your client that rate, get into the application, and hand it off to Aptical. Aptical takes about 15 minutes. Okay, so get the warm-up done, build the rapport, get into the Aptical website, call Aptical, and they'll take it from there. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.